I recently encountered the term simp, and simp is a word that's used to describe somebody who chases women without any regard for their own self-esteem. But you know what? I don't think that being a simp is strictly limited to chasing women. I think it's actually a set of characteristics and personality traits which can be changed, but which are often engaged in unconsciously. So what I'd like to suggest is that the simp mode is a symptom of a deeper issue, and I'd like to discuss some of those with you and suggest some ways that a person who is in that situation can move forward. First thing we need to come to terms with is that simp mode means that somebody is being needy. But the problem is, the more needy that person becomes, the more repulsive they become too. Imagine yourself in a situation where you have somebody who is so wrapped up in seeking your approval that they are there all the time. You can't shake them. They're going to become repulsive to you. And that's one of the singular failings of the simp. In short, it's a failing model. So let's look at 3 tells. Let's see how you can detect somebody who's in simp mode, whether they're chasing women or just seeking validation. And you can also check these tells against your own behaviour and ask yourself, am I simping? First one, the first tell is that the simp will waste time. They will waste other people's time by texting constantly. They will waste other people's times by hanging out and being present when they don't need to be. And they will simp by talking endlessly, seeking attention. So, if you find yourself in a time-wasting sort of frame, ask yourself, am I simping? Secondly, the hallmark of a simp is that they seek validation and approval. And they often seek validation and approval from the least qualified people. If we're looking at the relationship and sexual element, the only qualification the object of their desire requires often is simply to be attractive. They're not interested in the internal mechanisms, the experiences, the intellect. They will fool themselves into believing that this attractive person has a halo. So as a result, they will spend a lot of time seeking validation from somebody who might not be qualified to A, give validation, or B, give a shit. The third simping characteristic is somebody who over-explains. They explain, elaborate, expand, invent, and create. And what they're doing is they're filling a void in their own life, and they're doing it for no other reason than that they're missing a piece. They're missing something in their own experience, and so they're seeking to try and fill that void with empty words. So let's look at these. Let's have a look at these characteristics and see how they feature in the simp life. First one, time wasting, constantly texting, constantly emailing, constantly calling, constantly checking. Not only are they wasting their own time, diffusing their energy on things that don't really matter, they're pulling other people into it as well. The other person's time is now wasted. And then of course they will complain that they're being ghosted. They're not being ghosted, they're simply not being fed. It's quite different. The other simp behaviour is going to be loitering and being needy, believing in their misplaced ego bursts that their mere presence is going to be enough to convince somebody that they are worthy, when all in fact they're doing is becoming an annoyance, an irritant. The problem with the simp is that they're living in a fantasy world, which is another way of wasting their energy. They created their own private Narnia. And in this private fantasy world, the outcomes that they require, based around the people they fixate upon, have got nothing to do with reality. But still they can't stop.